The AFC North quarterback room right now is incredibly fascinating. You have the Pittsburgh Steelers swapping out literally every single quarterback on their roster from last season. You have the Baltimore Ravens, who need a new backup quarterback unless they want to roll with Josh Johnson, who they signed on the wrong side of 40. You have the Cleveland Browns swapping out all their backup quarterbacks. And then you have the Cincinnati Bengals saying, what you doing over there, guys? We're good. We're staying pat. Welcome, everybody, to JG9 News. We talk all things NFL all the time. I'm Jared and I represent the 904 from the 602. And today, we are talking about a quarterback on this team behind me right here, the Cleveland Browns, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, last year's 5th-round pick by the team, pick number 140 out of UCLA, and what his future is on the Cleveland Browns after this offseason. Obviously, Deshaun Watson is the starter. You figure maybe DTR will be the number 2 guy, but they signed Jameis Winston to a 1-year deal. He's the backup, obviously. So you figure, okay, DTR, he might be the 3. Well, not anymore, because the Browns today signed Tyler Huntley from the Baltimore Ravens. After 4 seasons in Baltimore, he is now in Cleveland, and that really relegates DTR to the 4th-string guy. It was already going to be tough after the Jameis Winston news for Thompson-Robinson to make it onto the roster, because Kevin Stefanski has been the coach of the Browns for 4 seasons. He's entering his 5th, and the Browns only keep 2 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster going into the season. I'm not going to regurgitate all the information that I said in the Tyler Huntley video. Go check that out if you haven't already. I'll leave a link in the upper right corner and a link in the description below. But the Browns only keep 2 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster every single season. That Stefanski has been the coach of the team. In 2020, Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum were the 2 quarterbacks. 2021, you had Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum again. 2022, Deshaun Watson didn't count toward the 53-man roster as he was suspended, but you had Josh Dobbs and Jacoby Brissett. And then last season, it was Deshaun Watson and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So it's tough for Stefanski to keep 3 quarterbacks on the 53, let alone 4. No team's carrying 4 on the 53-man roster to start off, which raises the question, is Dorian Thompson-Robinson's time in Cleveland up? Is he going to be on another team next year? My gut, based on the Winston signing, based on the Huntley signing, is yes. Dorian Thompson-Robinson played 3 games with Cleveland last year, 53.6% completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 4 picks, 51.2 pass rating. Did not look that good in the regular season, although he did look very good in the preseason. More on that in just a bit. He's got 3 years of control, fairly cheap, $1 million cap hit, or roughly thereabouts, for each of the next 3 seasons. You have him under contract until 2026. Where will DTR wind up? Well, there's a reason I set up the case behind me with the Cleveland Browns and another team, that team being the New York Jets. Side note, just got that Super Bowl 3 helmet. Hopefully you guys like it. I can't believe I made those, but the New York Jets, I could see them being a possibility to acquire Dorian Thompson-Robinson in a trade with the Cleveland Browns. Now, I want to make something very clear right off the bat. This is me speculating. This is me taking an educated guess, and I'll bring out the reasons why I think DTR will be a New York Jet in 2024. I don't have any inside sources. This is not me confirming anything. This is just me taking an educated guess based on all the evidence we have, as I've done many times before on this channel, and trying to figure out where DTR is going to be and answer that question. Here's why I think the New York Jets make a ton of sense for Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Number 1, Robert Saleh has been the coach of the New York Jets since 2021. He has kept 3 quarterbacks on his roster every single season. 3 seasons, 3 times he's kept all 3 quarterbacks. Number 2, we know Joe Douglas's philosophy, the GM, on late-round draft picks. He doesn't value them a ton. Look at the 2022 NFL draft. He had 6 picks in the final 3 rounds, rounds 5, round 6, round 7. He traded them all away. He was done after round 4. I don't think Joe Douglas likes taking guys later on. Obviously, if you're the New York Jets, you're not drafting a quarterback early in this draft with the holes that you have and the fact that you're in win-now mode and the fact that you know that if you're Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, your jobs are on the line. You're not drafting a quarterback early on, but at the same time, do you draft a quarterback later on? Probably not, based on Joe Douglas's philosophy. On top of that, even if he wanted to, it's not like Joe Douglas is that good at drafting quarterbacks. He's drafted 2 in his time as the GM of the New York Jets. Yeah, James Morgan, the guy out of Florida International, never played it down with the New York Jets. That was a complete waste of a pick from 2020 in round 4. And then Zach Wilson, who, enough said on that. On top of that, the Jets will only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster going into 2024 as it stands. Aaron Rodgers is your number one quarterback. Tyrod Taylor, you just signed him from the New York Giants as a quality number 2 backup. At least you have an insurance plan in case Aaron Rodgers does go down like last year. But Zach Wilson, yes, he's on the roster, but he's going to be gone. Zach Wilson will not be a New York Jet in 2024, barring anything crazy. Zach Wilson sold his house, or it's on the market right now. He's selling his New Jersey townhome. On top of that, he got permission from the team to seek a trade. And if that wasn't enough, owner Woody Johnson, earlier in the offseason, last month, talked about the future of Zach Wilson with the New York Jets, and he basically said, we need a backup quarterback. We didn't have one last year. So that kind of lets you know where the New York Jets stand, where Zach Wilson stands with the team. He's not going to be on the team next year. So let's think about it. The Jets are probably not drafting a quarterback in 2024. They're probably not going to. You have 2 quarterbacks on the roster right now, not counting Wilson. You have Aaron Rodgers and Tyrod Taylor. You might sign an undrafted free agent. You probably will sign an undrafted free agent. But do you want that as your third quarterback? Especially because, A, you don't know what you're getting in him. He might be good. He might not be good. And the other thing is that Robert Saleh has kept 3 quarterbacks on the roster every year. So you need that third quarterback. DTR, you have him under control until 2026 on a very cheap cap hit. I could see it happening. Because on top of that, Joe Douglas knows he's fighting for his job. He knows as a GM of the Jets, he's fighting for his job, that this might be his last season. If they don't make the playoffs this year, they're cleaning house. Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, everyone's gone. If you know you carry 3 quarterbacks, would you rather have a day 3 rookie quarterback where you haven't drafted a single good quarterback in your life? Or do you trust a guy that's been in the league and we know at the very least can play? You can kick the can down the road for 2025 when there's a chance it won't be your problem. Because here's the thing with this. It's not going to happen in April. It's not going to happen right now. It's probably not going to happen until the end of the preseason in late August, early September. There's no reason for the Browns to do it right now because let's say a quarterback on the Browns gets hurt. Let's say Tyler Huntley plays like garbage and DTR plays well in the preseason. Obviously, things change. So this wouldn't happen anytime soon. This would happen in the summer, August, September, sometime around there. So the Jets would be giving up a 2024 draft pick. They'd be giving up a 2025 draft pick to do it. You might not be there in 2025. It's not your problem at that point. And if you are there, then obviously things went very well this season. And you give the late round pick to get DTR, and that late round pick, again, we know that Joe Douglas doesn't like taking guys in the later rounds. On top of that, the Jets know Dorian Thompson-Robinson very, very well. Look at the Hall of Fame game last year. The Jets played the Browns. Darrelle Revis got in the Hall of Fame. Joe Thomas got in the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. So they played each other in the Hall of Fame game. And DTR was a star in that game. He lit the Jets up. So Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, they've seen him in person. They know what he can do. He was 8 for 11 in that game, 82 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no picks, 124.1 passer rating. He also had 6 carries for 36 yards. Had a very good run block, too. You saw the effort in the ground game where he was acting as a lead blocker. He led the Browns from down 16-7 with Kellen Mond at quarterback doing absolutely nothing to a 21-16 win. And obviously, it was the Jets' third-string guys that didn't make the roster. It's preseason. Wins, losses don't really mean anything in the preseason, but they've at least seen DTR in person, and they know he can play. And considering the fact that the Jets do need a third-string quarterback, if and when they move on from Zach Wilson, and considering the fact that they're probably not going to draft a guy, and considering the fact that Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I'd be shocked if he's on the Cleveland Browns next year, because they only keep 2 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster, and right now DTR is the 4th-string guy. You can see how I'm connecting the dots here, right? You can see if you connect the dots how Dorian Thompson-Robinson could absolutely be the 3rd-string quarterback on the New York Jets going into 2024 and be that second man up if Aaron Rodgers goes down behind Tyrod Taylor. But what are your thoughts on this? Do you think Dorian Thompson-Robinson will be on the Cleveland Browns? Do you think the Jets will make a move for him? Again, it wouldn't happen anytime soon. It wouldn't happen even during the draft. It would happen at the end of the preseason. If it was going to happen, they take either DTR or Tyler Huntley, whichever one loses out the battle for the 3rd-string job. Because DTR wouldn't make it on the practice squad because some team in all likelihood would claim him before he has a chance to revert to the practice squad. So again, just speculation right now. But what are your thoughts on all of this? Let me know in the comments down below. And that's going to do for this episode of JG9 News. Be sure you like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check my main channel, JaguarGary9, where we talk all things NFL history all the time. Until next time, this is JaguarGary9 signing off. And as always, go Jags.